Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud. All right, let's get straight to it. Episode 17. I mean, we have come a long way. Season 2. My co-host again tonight, as always, Adam Dumptruck Rupsick. Holla at the crew, DT. We are post-Thanksgiving. The Bills are 8-3. They did what they had to do. I've got some stories to tell from Motown. Holla at the crew, DT. What's good, man?
What's up? What's up, Nickel City? Good to be back again. As I was talking to you early, Rob, it feels like we haven't talked in a long time. It's only been a week, with that holiday in there. It kind of mixes it up a little bit. But good to be back. Good to be back with the crew. Got a good show tonight. We're in the thick of it now as we were speaking pre-show. We got a lot coming up over the next couple weeks, but skin out those last 2 wins out in Detroit, both in Detroit, big wins, games we thought we were going to win, all season. Didn't know, with the injuries, how close they were going to be, but got it done, baby. We're back at 8-3, and that's what we said, and going into the division run. So good to be back. It feels like forever, but like riding a bike. We're back in the horse. Let's go, Nickel City.
Oh man, Nickel City Crew, let's go. Bills Mafia, let's go. It has been an eventful couple weeks in Motown. That's why I named the episode that last week, because we were going back to Motown for round 2. And you're absolutely right, DT. We took care of business, take care of the Cleveland Browns, and then take care of the Detroit Lions on their home field. And you can hear it in my voice. I'm still a little bit down and out. My voice is messed up, and I've been a little bit under the weather. I think it's changing back and forth between Detroit and Charlotte, and it kind of got the best of me, DT. But the Bills came out with a gritty win, man. That game was completely agonizing to watch and to be there. It was completely suspenseful. We pulled it out, man. That was a gritty win. I was proud of it. Like, I don't care about style points. I kept hearing all of these things, DT, leading up to that game about style points. And our guest that's coming on tonight, we had actually talked about it in Detroit about I don't even give a shit about style points. I don't care at this point about style points because it's all about stacking wins, like we talked about, man.
It's the NFL, and we it's hard to win in the league, and we got spoiled, in the early part of the season, blowing out teams and thinking that the way it was going to go. And credit to you, Rob. You said it the longest time, not to kind of just to pump the brakes, be realistic, and know it's a tough league, and we've seen that. Was stacked with a ton of adversity against the Bills this year, and they're still able to be 8-3 right now, and getting back on the health train. It was great, but Thursday's game was interesting because
it was crazy.
With that, you were going through that agonizing feel like in another stadium, right?
Yes.
Obviously, there was a lot of Bills fans there, so I'm excited to kind of hear how that experience was and how that felt game to game. But for me, it was with the family, and I got some Bills fans, some from we were all over the country,
right.
So it was a little bit of everybody, and just to kind of see like everyone was watching not just the game, but they're watching me, right? Because I'm the fanatic of the family and the Bills,
right.
And so
all
they're watching me
as
it's coming down the stretch, and they kick the field goal. It might be overtime. We missed the extra point, and then 17 just lets that hose loose, baby. And it was so I noticed that too, as I'm kind of hands over the head, like rocking back and forth, and I turn to my left, turn to my right, and everybody in the room just watching me, waiting to see how I'm going to react to the Bills. So it was an interesting deal, and can't wait to hear how your experiences was down in Detroit. But hey, win's a win. Screw the style points. I agree. It's not college. Margin of victory don't matter. Power rankings don't matter. It's out here winning ball games, baby. And we got to come up. But yeah, how was the trip, Rob?
Oh, it was crazy, man. It was great, man. I went up on Wednesday to see my sister, Del Ria in Detroit, and she's been in Detroit for a lot of years now. She's really established as a assistant principal at a charter school. And I went up there to see her. I came to the crib, and we had a good time. And then we were waiting on other family to get in town. Again, our guest tonight that I'm going to introduce in a moment, and it was really a great weekend. Now, the actual game experience and being pregame. One thing that I'll say, it's a moot point at this point because we've already talked about the new stadium. So it just kind of reaffirmed that I do feel I just wanted on the record for Nickel City Crew Bills Mafia. We did kind of miss the boat on it. I do understand that it would have been more money. I do understand that a lot of those different factors with taxpayer money in Western New York comes a part of it as well. Boy, did we miss the boat with putting that thing right there on the canal side with a roof over it, because you could make it into a multiplex, multi-purpose facility. DT, it was so nice, man. We went downtown. There was no less tailgating. Now, there were obviously it was separated, so there was tailgating in this slot and tailgating in this slot, but there were Bills fans everywhere. We were well represented, obviously, as you could hear on the actual broadcast, because we were in the building. Now, don't get it twisted, Nickel City Crew. The Bills fans were there at Ford Field. It was a cool atmosphere all morning. It was not that bad of weather, and when you got into the stadium, man, what better than being able to take your coat off, DT? Like I really wish. Now I hope, obviously, that the new Bill Stadium with that canopy and 65% is going to be covered. That and you've got the illuminated lighting. Hopefully with the heated lighting, everything works out, and it's a nice game day experience. But it really is hard to be indoor, and it was nice, DT. I would be lying, man. You saw it on my Instagram. I would be lying.
Yeah, you were having a good time. Yeah,
It was nice.
and that's unanimous, Rob. That's unanimous. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
I've talked to, because I knew a lot of people that snuck out there Sunday for the moved game,
Right, for the Cleveland
and
game.
went to that game for pretty cheap, and then obviously had the normal plans to go Thursday. And everybody I've talked to that's gone has said pretty much the same thing, Rob. That they did it right. It just set up nice. The stadium itself was nice, and overall, like, they wish we can have that sort of feel here in Buffalo. Hopefully we get close to that with this new stadium. We'll see, as there's a lot of hope for that. But that's unanimous. Everybody I've talked to, Rob, has said similar things.
Yeah. Well, it was a really nice atmosphere. And like I said, the game was excruciating. And I'm so happy that the Bills won, because it would have ruined my turkey day. And I'm ashamed to say it, because turkey day is my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving. But I was really feeling bad for those Detroit Lions fans as they were walking out of the stadium. And they were gracious and they were nice. But boy, I was like, I don't feel like going to eat no turkey after losing that kind of game. Like, I would not feel like going to eat no dressing.
They got to be used to that, right?
Oh,
Like,
man,
by
I
now,
guess
I
so.
feel like
Yeah.
they lose every Thanksgiving. I
Yeah.
know I'm speaking out of my ass a little. I don't know when they won last, but it feels every year, that 12 o'clock slot, Detroit's always getting worked on. So,
Well, for
I
me
mean, they
personally,
got to be
because
used to it.
yeah, but for me personally, because it's my favorite holiday, as preferred to all the other ones, man, I would just not want to have to go through that. Then how about that? If
Yeah.
I was a Lions fan, that would be pretty shitty, because I don't want to listen. I don't want to see another crowd be happy leaving my stadium every single Thanksgiving. So again, kudos to the Bills. Now, we did not come out of it as unscathed, as we've talked about pre-show, DT. And I wanted to get your thoughts on it, and then we're going to bring on our guest as well. I wanted to introduce him, but DT, I mean, I hearing all the stuff from Ninkovich and all the other ESPN talking heads and Stephen A. and the Bill season's over. Listen, Von Miller goes down. You heard him on his Voncast. If you haven't heard about it, it's called the Voncast. He has his own podcast. Von Miller does. He talked about being ready for the Jets game in a couple of weeks. I know.
Rob.
I understand. And listen, now I know that he's not a doctor, but he obviously knows his body. He knows what he can handle, what he can't withhold. Listen, talk to me about Von Miller, because everybody's kind of saying that the curtains are down on the Buffalo Bills 2022 season if he can't go. Do you subscribe to that? Is this something that he can play through with a brace? And before we bring on our guests, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, because this is a big deal. I mean, we brought him in to be the closer. He showed how he can be that closer against Kansas City and provide that pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and literally helped us win that game, which is precisely what we brought him in for. And I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't actually give this the due diligence and talk about it, DT.
Well, it would be huge if he, wasn't able to go the rest of the year. But I'm taking this as more of an extra, the sugar on top, if you will. Like, I was never expecting something like this in the offseason, to get somebody like Von Miller. He comes in, and then even after he's signed, you're not expecting him to play the way he's playing, in the beginning part of this year, is a complete dominant force. So it has led us to some wins. It is crucial to this team, but we've talked about it the whole time he's been here, of what he gives to this team, what he gives to this locker room, the coaching up he does with these young guys. And, we got to rely on that. If he's not able to go, juice he's gave the rest of the team, through this. He's still going to be in there in the meeting, still going to be everything like that if he's not. But hopefully that carries over to these young guys and they can get it done. And they're definitely going to have to change up the game plan a little bit because you don't see the pressure there when 40's not in. So I hope that's not the case. And again, he's not a doctor, but he has gone through his fair share of knee injuries, Rob. And
Same knee.
He knows how he's feeling and what he's got to do to get back. And the way the Bills handle injuries too, this is not really, how they do it. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna, 7 days, we'll see if the swelling goes down and get back. It's more hush hush. Like look back at the Josh injury 2 weeks ago,
right?
And some of that goes to you ask the player. The player is always going to say they're going to play. But in Von Miller, I think it's a little different. He's been around a long time. He knows how injuries work, and if he really sincerely didn't think he'd be back, and can play through this, I don't think he would be saying it. So I think it's optimism for sure. If he goes down, it's not the end of the world. I don't think the curtains are down, but it's a huge loss, and they'll have to, act accordingly with that. But coming from a guy who knows his body, knows the knee injury game, and says basically it's more just a formality at this point. Let it roll, let it rock and beat it up.
All right. Well, that's one way to look at it for sure, because I'm definitely concerned, and I'm going to be watching it with a close eye. And I know that Nickel City Crew Bills Mafia, we will be doing the same thing. Joining us now, we've got a guest for tonight. DT, we stepping up in the world. We got guests on and joining us, and I feel like the Jeffersons. I feel like I'm moving on up. Joining us, Bennett running back, former Bennett running back, right there, Buffalo City Schools, brother-in-law. And I just met him for the first time. It's on the other side of the family. You know how it is when you get together, DT, with family or friends, and then all of a sudden you meet people that you didn't know that you had on your family. And listen, I had such a great weekend with this brother, Jeff Varner, and he taught me so much because he really knows a lot about football, DT, as I hope he gets a chance to share with Nickel City Crew and our audience, because it was just a delight, man. Holla at the crew, Jeff. I mean, what's going on, man? Holla at us.
How we doing? Let me start off by saying, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. But hey, let me tell you something. From an individual who has had medial and lateral meniscus damage to my knees,
okay,
Von Miller be fine.
He's gonna be fine.
They're talking about lateral meniscus damage. That's the outside of the knee.
Yes.
Okay.
He said today on his Voncast that he did not, or yesterday, that he did not tear his ACL.
He is in such tip-top condition. He can throw a brace on that knee and play.
Yeah.
If he's going to have any type of surgery, they'll most likely will scope it. If it's a tear,
right?
You know what I mean? They'll scope it right out. 2 weeks, he's back on the field. It's not that big of a deal with the meniscus joint.
Okay.
He can get out there and play this week. If he's got swelling in the knee,
right. That's why he's taking off this week.
Sit down. We don't need you. We got some horses back here that need to run.
Okay. Okay.
We do. And let me just say, for most folks who have a problem with the guys that we got out on the field right now, let it be known. And this is a fact, and football matters. When you have starters that are out for the majority of the season, and you have these second stringers playing, by the time our starters get back on the field, our backups are battle ready. Okay. I do not want to see the Bills late in the season and going into the playoffs when they're coming back and they're coming back high. You're gonna have problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna have
Jeff,
problems.
That's a good point, Jeff. I mean, we talked about it all year of being able to step up, next man up, and as much as I was talking to Rob last week on the episode of, especially defensively, you look at these games and you're like, man, we're getting burned, man, we're getting cooked. But then you look down at the scoreboard and there's 10 points scored. There's 14 points. We're not, right?
Exactly.
So bend don't break, and that's what this team's done. And the second, third stringers have stepped up. So I like that, Jeff, because we are going to get back, and this team is going to get healthy. And then when they do, we're going to be battle tested, ready to roll.
Be reckoned with, I guarantee you. That's pretty much one of the reasons why they was ranked so high coming into the season. I tell you, this team was built from the ground up, man. And you got to love it.
Yeah, Brandon Bean has done a great job. I've given him his flowers during the offseason as we closed on season 1. I gave him his flowers. I thought that the roster construction was great. One of the things that we can talk about and maybe want to poke holes in with Brandon Bean's roster construction is the wide receiver. And DT, the word on the street is OBJ's coming to town on Friday. So that'll be the day after the game that we're getting ready to talk about against New England. I mean, do we need wide receiver help? Because I think like we can't. How could OBJ be a detriment to anything that Josh Allen is trying to do on the offense? We just signed Smoke back. We just got him, and I understand that he's in a situation where, when we've got a chance to, get back an old guy and he's, familiar with the offense. But I'm just concerned about the wide receiver position. That's the only thing that I would poke holes in with Brandon Beane's roster construction, DT, because I wanted receiver and I wanted it handled early in the draft. He didn't necessarily do that, obviously, because he drafted Kaiir Elam and then he backed it up with James Cook. I'm not trying to say that he's off track, but with the injuries, when they pile up, it kind of just sheds a light on this thing. And we're thin. I think we got like 4 guys that are healthy. Yeah. So how can I not lay it at his feet a little bit?
Of course. I like Smoke coming back. I think 1.5 is nice. He's going to be. He hasn't been in the league, which kind of scares me a little bit, because if he was good enough, he would be picked up by somebody, because there's injuries all over the NFL. But he knows the offense and he knows Josh, and that's the biggest thing. So I think that's big. But if you asked me back in July, if we get thin at receiver and we bring John Brown back, you think that's going to be enough for us to go to the bowl? And it's tough for me to say yes on that, right? So you gotta be checking into all that, and and really seeing the deal of John Brown and coming in. But Odell Beckham is not going to hurt us, right?
No, I can't. I mean, and Jeff, you speak on it as well, because I don't know. I mean, he's coming Friday, and I know he had some incident on the plane, and Jerry Jones came out and said he doesn't give a shit, and he can't wait to see him coming to town. And I know that Jerry's going to roll out the red carpet. OBJ, I'm ready for.
Anytime you got a talent like OBJ, man, I mean, he can't do anything but help you. That just adds a little bit more speed. But with Smoke back, I tell you that changes the dynamics.
Really?
Okay.
You think he's going to get a chance to get some run?
Because now you're coming back, and you're coming back to a team where you already got chemistry with the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Right? He adds that third up the hash mark speed that makes it real difficult to defend the Bills now. You got to worry about Diggs. And already since last year's playoff game, the whole league is already concerned about Gabe Davis. They're rolling coverage over him like crazy without even being necessary.
Right, because he's not.
And when was Gabe Davis his most dominant? When he was in that third role, when he did, when he was, off of that. So you bring another guy in to take bodies in Odell. That's going to take a lot of interest. Stephon Diggs already going to eat you no matter who you got. And now you got Gabe Davis going back into that role where he's kind of by himself doing his thing, scoring 5 touchdowns in Kansas City.
Right.
So I like that. But Gabe Davis has got to step up eventually into that role. We can't just keep signing top tier, wide receivers
for 1 or 2 deals.
Because Gabe Davis is the best wide receiver 3 in the league.
I'll roll it back on to Dorsey, because you already have the players on the field. Your play selection has got to be really, really good, and you can't take plays off. And you can tell by a lot of the drives that we have, a lot of the instances that we get into, it's like that play selection was terrible. We're down in distance.
Okay.
It's like,
I know he gets a lot of flack. He catches a lot of flack. It's your play selection it's what are you reading out here? I can get this is your first year doing it, but you ought to know better. You've been playing the game. You can see what's on the field.
Every team, is going to attack Josh differently, so that's a big part of it too.
Exactly.
And going into this week is they're going to have to get the ball out.
Which leads me to believe that always resort back to your most basic form of football when you get in the red zone. When you got a back like Singletary, this kid, like you said the other day, Rob, he'll juke you in the phone booth.
Yeah. He will.
But he is focused a lot of his time during the offseason on getting his strength up and getting his explosiveness up. He's going to get you 3 to 4 to 5ve yards a pop.
Right. But they don't run it down there. They don't run it.
Unless it's second down.
Yeah, they don't run it down
there. They'll get you none.
Then they'll get you none. But all out, man. That's all you got to do. Just spread the ball.
Yeah. And, I mean, did you see today, Rob, they restructured Trey White's money.
Yeah,
so we got some money now.
So what they did today, Nickel City Crew, they created about $2.5 million. Brandon Beane and the Bills did in cap space by restructuring, Tre'Davious White. And when I thought of that, when I heard that, I thought, well, does that have anything to do with OBJ coming to town on Friday?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that correlates or not, but it's definitely something worth asking. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and at this point, I think the money Bills aren't going to be able to give him the
As
money. I
much
think that's out there in the news. Somebody like Dallas right now, could. So it's coming down to Odell
to
as
fit.
is it money? Is it
Mhm.
money or is it ring?
Right.
And Dallas is damn good too. They got a great roster, and they could they could definitely be in the contention for a Super Bowl as well. But is it rings or is it money? And that's really, I think, what it's coming down to. And if Odell comes here, that like the Super Bowl talk is immediately back up, at the top, and that's we all expect that and know that. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going in is not like acting like it's not going to happen, and then be pleasantly surprised if it does.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the right approach.
Yeah, Von just keeps hitting it, man. Just when you think like we're forgetting about it, and you start hearing about all these other teams he's visiting and rolling
He
with,
said it again
and then he's
yesterday.
Dallas, it's Dallas, and whatever, and then boom,
Von said,
comes back.
Von
Like,
said,
nah,
I don't
he's
think he's
coming.
leaving. Von said, I
He's
don't think he's
coming, and
leaving
I
like
don't think he's
Mario
leaving.
Williams
He's
back in
coming,
the
and I
day.
don't think he's leaving. It's a done deal. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, but I'm gonna act like it's not happening. And if it does, it's a nice little surprise.
All right. Well, as we transition, fellas, to to tomorrow's matchup, this is really crazy because I think that you gave the actual title to the episode, DT, during pre-show. Like, listen, the next 3 games as you look on the schedule, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew. I mean, this is kind of it. This really is where the rubber truly meets the road. We've got the Patriots on the road tomorrow. Amazon Prime. I mean, this is a big deal. This is not a small game. This is not something to be overlooking or anything like this. We have waited a long time to play our division games. For whatever reason, the NFL schedule has set it up where we haven't even played one at home yet. So we've got all these division games to end up the season, and 3 right in a row. DT, talk to me about tomorrow's matchup. I'm really interested to hear both of your thoughts on this, because this is big. I don't care what you think of Mac Jones. I know that he's regressed, and then they had the little Bailey Zappi mania for about 5 minutes, and he was like, Jeremy Lin. It was 5 minutes, and then it was gone. And listen, the Patriots are the Patriots, and Judon is leading the league in sacks, and they're going to try to get after Josh. And Deion Dawkins is out, and there's a lot of moving parts. Now we got Questenberry at left tackle tomorrow. This is a big game. The Bills don't bring it, and you could be sitting here looking at 8-4, and we don't want to be looking at that. What are some of the things that you're looking at for the keys for the game tomorrow, DT? And then we'll get you in as well, Jeff, because this is big. These next 3 games are big. There's no way to hide it. You got the Patriots, the Jets, then the Dolphins. Like, it's big. You can't run from it. This is the division. These are the most important games on their schedule. They count twice, as Chan Gailey used to say back in the day. So what are your thoughts, man? Because this is big. Foxborough.
Yeah, Rob. This is episode 17, right? So we've been talking about this this season, obviously every week, every in and out, and there was some games to look forward to, some big matchups, obviously the Chiefs and Packers at home, and plenty of others through the season. But at the end of the day, we're talking about 1 seed, we're talking about Super Bowl, we're talking about winning the division. And now we've had kind of the beginning start. We see what this team's about. We've had a ton of adversity. Now these 3 games come up in the division, and it literally is rubber meets the road. It all comes down to this. You go in here and go 3-0, everything we've talked about is still in play. You
right
go
in
in
front
here
of
and
us.
even go 2-1.
It depends
The
on who you
1
lose to.
seed's
If you
probably
lose to the Dolphins, that might make it a little bit
1
tricky.
seed's going to be really tough at 2-1, especially the way Kansas City is looking. So this literally is everything, all the buildup, all the hype. These next 3 games, rubber meets the road. We're ready to go. New England's a tough match. As if anything, Bills fans, Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia, we know, don't ever estimate Bill Belichick and the boys.
No,
I mean,
don't
don't ever
underestimate.
estimate Bill
No,
Belichick.
don't
How many times
underestimate him.
have we been up to Orchard Park and watching on TV, and we just in and out, for
Now
the last
Brady
12
had a
years.
lot to do with it. Now
True,
we'll give
of
Brady
course.
his. You know what I mean? He had a lot to do with that.
Definitely. But, still, it's Bill Belichick. It's the Patriots. You got to take it. You can't take them lightly by any means. And it's a good matchup. It's a matchup that they're going to take advantage of our weaknesses. I watched that game when Patriots played Minnesota last week to kind of, scout it out and see what they were going to be coming with. And they do bring the pressure. Judon is nice. He's going to be a guy to put a body on, and the Bills are going to have to get the ball out quick and figure out a way to work that game plan to, help Josh and run screens, whatever they got to do to get that ball out quick, because the downfield ball isn't going to be there as much. But if you're patient, you get it out. Kirk Cousins was able to get the ball out a lot and scored 33 points last Thursday. So a little mobility with Josh and the arm strength, I think the Bills will have no problem moving the ball on offense. Defensively, it comes down to, you got to pick your point. Like the run game's probably their strength. So you got to come up, stop the run. The Vikings did a good job of that last week in stopping the run. But with that, you're going to have Mac Jones. They're not afraid to go over the top with Mac Jones, so
Jacoby
that's
Myers
something to keep a look at and keep it rolling. So I think it's going to be more of a offensively, get the ball out quick, we'll be fine. Defensively, stop the run, let them take their shots over the top, and hopefully he throws up a couple picks. I think Jordan Poyer's due for a pick, and these boys haven't had a nice pick streak in a while where everybody on the team gets a pick. Milano, everyone, they have the 3-4 pick games, and that might be coming up. So that's kind of the quick keys to the game I have of, you know what you're getting in that pass rush. They're going to come after you. And when the Bills have struggled this year, a lot of the times it's been when the other teams come after Josh. That you look back early season to that Dolphins game, they were all over him by bringing the pressure. The Patriots aren't going to be anything different when it comes to that. And they run that weird, defensive front where you don't know who's coming. Nobody's in a 3-point stance. It's up and down. And
they're all standing.
But Josh and McDermott have seen these boys plenty of times now. So they got to know what's coming. And Josh knows he's about to get his bell rung probably a few times tomorrow night. But standing there, make some throws. They keep replaying that smoke throw he had 2 years ago when they actually lost in that game in New England. But that was a beautiful throw, and that's what we're going to see. So looking forward to it. And I think we'll be all right. But those are my quick keys.
Okay, Coach Varner, what do you have for us for the keys
fellas,
to this
buckle
game?
up, because we're about to take one hell of a ride in these next few games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All I can say is, man, knuckle up, man, because it's going to be a bruiser.
Yep.
You think the back half of this season is divisional games, which makes it really tough. But once again, you just gotta want it.
Well, what do you think about tomorrow? What are your keys for tomorrow's game for the Patriots themselves? Because this is a big one on the road.
Right there is, Mac Jones can't really throw nothing if he's on his rear end.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
provide pressure.
We gotta force some serious pressure on that D line, man. We got to, because
and without
blitz, are you willing to blitz, Coach Varner? Are you willing to blitz?
Oh, why not? Listen,
okay. I think you got to, Rob.
Now,
okay.
Edmonds is coming back for this game.
He is.
Yeah. Okay. And you know how much of a problem he is in the center, in the middle of the field.
Absolutely.
He takes away that second level depth.
Yes.
So you really have to be real precise with your ball.
Absolutely.
I'm sending Milano.
Okay. Okay.
Have a field day. Have lunch. You know what I mean? Have lunch.
We got Klein too now.
Exactly.
We got Klein too now, and he made his name last year pass rush. So that's
Send him.
Wow, he said send him. He said Leslie Frazier said the heat.
For God's sakes, help my man Dane Jackson out so he doesn't get
man.
Day, man. It's a
Please
Dane
don't
Jackson
bring his name up.
You are right, man.
Yeah, I was hard on Dane last week, and I felt bad for his family. I was hoping that nobody from his family heard me talking about him. And I think I called him Dane Cook one time on accident. But listen, I'm sorry, man.
I think it was his birthday. Him and Diggs' birthday today.
Yes, it is.
He only stopped 3 out of the 11.
Yeah, he's been having a little bit of a
rough. But that's chain reaction. That's chain reaction. Not getting pressure, not having Edmonds in the middle.
Not having Trey White on the other side.
Exactly. So that's going to be. I think Trey White's going to play more snaps this week. Bring in Edmonds back. Maybe throw a flu blitz packages in.
Kair Elam should be back, right? Kair Elam should be back.
Yes.
Full practice. And so is Rousseau. So we're going to have a little bit more solid up front. We may not have Vaughn, but it's good.
Yeah, the artillery is really back. Yeah,
that's Stevenson he's a game breaker too for them.
Yeah.
Stevenson's a game breaker, so that's, but I'm confident because the Bills, when they're facing good running backs, have been able to, ring the bell and really stop the run when that's their job. But that's what the Vikings did last week, and the Patriots went over top of them a few times too. So you gotta be mindful of that. But yeah, I think it's not too far away from the normal game plan here. Maybe a few blitzes.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
As we
primarily,
come,
we got to take that line of scrimmage, man.
yeah, and all the
You
game
know,
is won in the line of scrimmage for sure. So
there you go.
we'll see. I mean, you said it, Coach Varner, you said it, perfectly because it is going to be, so a knuckle fight these next couple of weeks. Again, we've got the Patriots
Yes.
tomorrow night. We've got Sunday, December 11th against the Jets at home, and then we finally get the Dolphins to come at home, and that's still a TBD.
Right now,
so
that's
that game
the
could be
game I
flexed
can't
out.
wait to see. That one right there. Even in deep down in my soul, man, it's like payback time for them.
Yeah, man. Well, they've been flying high. Their offense has been flying high, and they've been having a great season so far. And then the Bills finish up the season against the Bears on the road. We've got Monday Night Football against the Bengals. And then before you know it, Nickel City Crew, we are wrapping up the season at home January 8th against the Patriots to close out the season, week 18. Now we've got 17 games, so that's an adjustment, but literally 6 games left. I mean, the Bills, the 1 seed, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about it as we begin to wrap up tonight. The 1 seed is still, obviously it's still in the mirror. It's not in the rear view mirror right now, but we are, kind of teetering on that edge. The way that the Kansas City Chiefs are playing right now, DT, and the way that they look, it looks like you really are. You've got one more slip up because you'll need to be tied with them record wise in order for you to grab that number 1 seed due to the head to head. Kansas City schedule, man. It's really hard, DT, to find the loss. Now, maybe it's this week, and that would be great. We've got the Bengals, and they're on the road, and that would be lovely to be able to get a nice little win from the Bengals. But then after that, they've got the Broncos, who look like one of the worst offenses of all time. I don't know what happened to Russell Wilson. I don't know what happened to him, and I can't imagine Nathaniel Hackett is going to keep his jobs. We've got the Texans.
I thought he was going to have to shack up with you in Carolina last week, Rob. I didn't think they were going to let him back on the plane from Carolina.
Oh my goodness! I swear I would have had the little Airbnb for him. And listen, we had the Houston Texans. They've got the Seahawks, who obviously are a surprising team this year. The Broncos again, and then the Raiders, who have been very disappointing at 4-7. So, really, to be honest, if you need them to lose you need them to lose one more game, and then 2 if you decide to lose a game. Man, I see Bengals and maybe the Seahawks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even see. I know, right?
That hurts to say, right?
That's really hard to say.
Yeah,
you definitely don't see the Broncos, the Texans, or the Raiders, and maybe maybe they're resting starters or something like that. But if they're going for the number 1 seed, week 18 against the Raiders, they're going to play that game. So the Bills are kind of at like it's literally one more loss, and that's about it. And you can say goodbye to the 1 seed.
You got to let those chips fall. I think with the 1 seed with the Chiefs, you got to let that play out. What you can control is the division right now, and what better way to do it with 3 games coming up here? Miami this week's got 49ers.
Right.
They're underdogs on the road, and then they go to or they home or whatever. But they have Sunday night. They just got flexed Sunday night Chargers.
Yes, against the Chargers.
So so they got 2 not easy dubs coming up. Before they come into Buffalo to play that game. So we got to take care of business, take care of Patriots, take care of Jets, hope the Dolphins lose one of the 2 in the next couple of weeks. And then
bring them up to the cold. Yeah, bring them up to the cold and give them some of their own medicine.
Saturday, Sunday, night, day, whatever the hell that game's going to be. That's technically the division, and that's kind of what you saw, a few weeks ago and going in. So I'd say, I'm not looking at the Chiefs. I'm obviously rooting for them to lose. I'm rooting for them to lose, but we talked about that last week. They were down, and you think they're going to lose, and then you turn it on, and they go down and score. So I'm not even going to get myself stressed out or looking at that. Let those chips fall as they may. Take care of the division.
I'm just a little bit jealous, Coach Varner, because I just want Patrick Mahomes to take his ass on the road. I want him to be uncomfortable 1 week, and he's never uncomfortable. He's always chilling in Missouri. He's always chilling in Missouri.
Cool as the other
to him
side
over
of
the
the
last
pillow,
couple.
man.
Yeah, no credit to him, DT. I give it to him, but make it work for something.
Saying with the Bills beat the Chiefs, and we were all high up. Let's go, Josh Allen. Go, let's ride. Josh Allen's nasty. Then the Bills, have their struggles a little bit, and the Chiefs have looked, nails. And now the conversation's like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes is better than Allen, this and that. And it's like, God damn, man.
It's funny how fast the narrative changes.
Don't sleep the Raiders. The Raiders have a bad habit of really being a thorn in the side of the Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be all the way down to week 18, but okay.
Josh Jacobs runs for 300. Yeah.
I agree with DT, man. Just let the chips fall where they may, man.
Okay.
You know,
I'll back
let the
off,
chips
Nickel
fall
City
where they
crew.
may.
I'll back off. I just want them to
prep,
go on the road.
buckle up,
That's it.
and let's get it
No
done.
problem.
You know,
No, listen, I'm not going to be scared if we have to go back to Arrowhead. It just honestly is as a personal thing. I'm just sick of this shit. Like, I'm sick of going back there. I'm
hey,
sick of playing them
I'm with you
with
on
all
that
of the
right
chips
there.
on the line. You know how nervous you are before those games. Me and DT can attest to
Yeah.
some of those games beforehand and how we were just, we were just nervous and we were just worried. And even DT, you thought we were going to win last year. And like, you know what I mean? It was just
Well, so did I.
I know.
Yeah, and Rob, if that happens, if they go on the road again, go to Kansas City, and they lose again, then the narrative changes to Josh Allen, McDermott can't win the big game. You know, they can't win the big game. They can't win the, and you know that's what's coming, right? So
listen to Nick Wright.
Want to avoid that. Yeah, want to avoid that 100%. But at this point, you can't waste your energy rooting for the Chiefs to lose because they're probably not. So let's get the division.
All right, let's get the division. I back off. I concede. I will watch them out of the corner of my eye. I'll pay attention to them, but I won't put all my eggs in the number one seed basket. I just want to see Mahomes have to get on the road. That was it. I mean, it's just I'm being selfish for sure, but I definitely want to see how he handles a little bit of adversity. Let him listen to me on third down and DT on third down and Bills Mafia on third and 8, and it's snowing and there's a little couple flurries in the air and it's cold as hell. Come on, let's get a little bit of
he
adversity.
really even hasn't. The one game they did was the COVID, and nobody was there.
There was nobody there.
You know, and it was a Tuesday night or some shit. So
yes, exactly. So he really hasn't felt us yet, and I just I selfishly want him to have to get on the road for a playoff game, a game that matters. If you don't win today, you're going home and you're going on vacation. So that's kind of the pressure I want to put 15 under. But he is great. I understand, like you said, DT, how quick the narrative changes, and now all of a sudden he's the best quarterback in the league again, and everybody's off the Josh Allen train. And guess what? I'm fine with that. I don't need everybody to be on our train. I would like it better when we're the actual underdog. It was unavoidable this year because of the fact that we were the Super Bowl favorites coming into the year by all sports books, pretty much universally. And and I just saw it the other day on my feed, DT, is that Coach Varner, they said Bills no longer number one, and I just shook my head and I just laughed. There was nothing much I could say.
Good. I like it too, Rob. I like it too. I mean, I hated the favorite hardly ever in the preseason. You don't see them at the end of the season. It's very rare. So I like kind of getting the pressure off us for a while, rolling in, and and I hope they
11-3 looks good on us. 11-3 looks good on us.
Let me tell you something. Don't media feed a hungry team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
Don't media feed a hungry team, because that's one of the basic distractions going on. I can see with this team right now.
You think so?
Too much media hype.
Okay. You think so?
Oh my goodness! Talking about getting away from the concept of one game at a time. Look at our schedules bouncing around like crazy.
Right.
We're playing way more primetime games than we've ever played. The hype is out there. Everyone's getting in their ears. These guys it just pulls your focus.
Okay.
It pulls the focus. But these guys get settled into doing some division football.
Right,
because
where they have to be locked in.
Every time you have a division game, it's going to be the toughest game you're going to play because they know.
Right. That's right.
You know what I mean? And we're in the back end. It's time to knuckle up. All that cute stuff and all that. Yeah, I guess I'll get a Gillette razor commercial.
Josh was in a Gillette. I saw that. I was going to ask you, TT, if you could put that on our thing tomorrow. That's funny you said that, Coach, because I was going to ask
listen,
put that
what we
commercial
said
there.
when we were in Detroit? We're sitting there talking about what the problem really may be, but I don't see that as a problem.
Yeah.
Listen,
go
ahead,
DT.
I mean?
Well, we were talking about that last week, Rob, that this team was super, super next week. We're playing this week. That was it. And then, they started to falter a little, had a few losses, and then everyone kind of panicked a little bit, and you got in, the 1 seed, this and that, the division, this and that. And we talked about getting back to the one game at a time, getting back in. And you said it best, Jeff. What's better than going and getting ready for division football, knuckling up, getting ready for week to week. So
you better bring your focus.
We have to just show just who is the dominant force in the AFC East. These teams are trying to get to that point. We got to hold it. You know what I mean? We got the team. We're already battle hardened by playing through injury. Get ready for a nice little ride, because everyone gels at the back end of the season. We
The good
gelled a
teams
little bit
do. The
early.
good teams do. The great teams
Good
do.
teams gel. Yeah,
Yeah.
it takes some hard knocks to get you going. So these guys, once again, our biggest problem, and I don't even see it as a problem, was the simple fact that we needed our second string to step up and carry us through the season.
And they did. They did. I
And
mean,
they are
it's been something
battle
else.
hardened for this
Yeah, they're
back end of
tested.
the season and the playoff run. Let anyone go down. We got somebody that's going to step in and do what they have to do.
Yeah, that is important. That's
right.
important.
And once again, like I said, don't overfeed me with the hype, because these guys, you take away the hunger, and that's the one thing you don't want to do with a team that's coming through hungry.
Yep, and they just came off for 13 seconds as well. So, like that should be something where they've got plenty of motivation. They've got plenty of things to focus on. And maybe there was a lot of, taps on the back this offseason. And I know, DT, you and I, we disagreed at certain points during the offseason, but I always wanted to keep the expectations tempered just because of the fact that I'm always, when I hear people talk 14-2 and then 15-1, whatever the case may be, or what is it, 14-3, there's 17 games now, or 15-2. I'm like, listen, just calm down. It's not going to be that kind of season, because it's just the game. They're all tight games, DT. Every game, it seems like in the NFL, there are not many blowouts. You look down your scroll after Sunday's over, and you're like, man, that was a close game. That was another. Oh, what, the Jags won? Oh, that was another one. Like it just seems like the league, the parity with the way they set it up, DT, it just seems like it's working out perfectly. I think they said the other day on Monday Night Football, 18 out of 32 teams are one game out of 7th place, and I was like, what? Like that's over half the league. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean,
it's insane to be honest. Yes.
I mean, you look at back to like before, you started seeing these huge spreads in these games. 7 points was about the max you would see in an NFL game, 8 maybe, and then it was like that's way too many points for NFL, right? And now it's on a weekly basis, there's 14-point spreads and. More times out of none, these teams are not getting
covered.
I mean,
they
look at last week on Sunday. On Sunday, the Dolphins got up 27-0 before halftime. You're like, oh, man, they might hang 60 on these dudes. The game ended 30.
They took them. I think they took 2 out in the third quarter, and then then the Texans they had a couple touchdowns or something like that.
30-15. So even that could have been the biggest blowout ever, and it was still a 2-score game. So. That's the league, man. That's the league.
Yeah, that's the way Goodell and them boys set it up, man. They have this parity thing almost down to a pack. The way they give
it's kind of scary. It feels like
crazy.
It's scripted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Think if the Broncos weren't the worst team ever. How that would have changed everything in the West and in between. So
yeah.
Well, Coach Varner, man, I've had a nice time having you, and I know DT has as well, man. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Anytime, man, have me back, man, because I love talking football.
Oh man,
Coach Varner, what's good? What's good with Rob? Rob put the Bennett tab in this week. State championship this week.
Hey man, that's my Scott. That's my squad.
Bennett's up for the state championship this week.
Yeah, they're playing Saturday, I think, right?
Man, we're going for the state title.
Good for them, man. Good for them. Rest in peace to my man Marv Locke, who used to play basketball for Bennett.
Facebook page, the Tigers for Life, man, and all of us that graduated from high school. We stay up with each other and everything, man. And this is like one of the best things that happened, because I remember back when we were playing back in the days, man, they wouldn't allow city schools to play in the sectionals in any of so we wouldn't even play in the schools in the surrounding areas. But everybody was under the impression, but the city schools can't compete with the suburban schools. And well, really?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad.
I want you to tell Bennett that. I want you to tell South Park that. You know what I mean?
Riverside, back when they had Mike Williams.
Exactly. Come on now. That that's just out of it. But hats off and big shout out to the Bennett Tigers, man. These guys.
Yeah, shout out to them, man, for sure.
I'll go cheer for them. I caught them.
I'll be rooting,
Friday
man.
nights with Pacho on the call. They do the local broadcast and. Yeah, it'll be. I might have to go over to Walgreens here, get myself a windbreaker. They got the Bennett Tigers gear. They got the Bennett Tigers gear out here. So let's go.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate you having you on, Coach Varner. Yeah, like I said, rest in peace to my man Marv Locke, who went to Bennett as well, played basketball there. So I know about Bennett, and I definitely have ties to it as well. So that's what's up, man. We would definitely have you back on, man, for sure. Coach Varner. It's been a pleasure, man. DT, man, as we wrap up, man, I mean, I'm not nervous, but you named the episode, man. I already gave you credit, man. The rubber has literally met the road, and it starts tomorrow night. Amazon Prime, 8:20. You catch the Bills against the New England Patriots in Foxborough, Gillette. Coach Varner had a funny comment about, Josh on those Gillette commercials. And I was like, yo, can you put that on our joint for Instagram tomorrow? Like, you know what I mean? Josh is a celebrity now. He's the man. Yeah. Tomorrow night, I need him to be the man. And his first job is quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. And I need him to be the man tomorrow. UCL injury or not, Deion Dawkins out or not, everything perfect or not. These are the moments where I need you to step up. He's a better quarterback than Mac Jones. We have a better defense than their defense overall. I know that Judon is a problem. We talked about him tonight. Be that dude tomorrow. I do need you to do that because of the fact that this is our first division game in a while, and we've got a bunch of them coming up at the end of the year, DT.
100%. Let's go. Let's get to 9-3 and be that guy. I love that. I'm going to vibe with that all day tomorrow. With
be that guy. Yeah, be that dude.
Guy and get it rolling. And, this isn't a team you want hanging around late in the game. Bill Belichick's got everything up his sleeve. So 17. This is episode 17. This is Josh 17. Business. Let's go handle business. Don't even let them think about the game at the end tomorrow. So
that's right. Go Bills.
Hit him with a go Bills, Coach Varner. Hit him with another one, man.
You got to say go Bills, bro.
Hit him, DT. Hit him,
DT. Go Bills. Go Bills. 9-3.